What have we doing so far? We have been going for a walk 3 times a day to observe your breathing and then counting your breaths on the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th minute. Why is this crucial? Because of recovery and recovery of your emotional and mental state, and also giving your body the time to be present. For me, this is actually pretty stressful at times because it takes more time and energy to go for walks and then count my breathing and just going for a walk and looking at my phone. Nevertheless, if we want to become better in the recovery areas within our performances, so let's say you are going to go on stage, and before going on stage, you're nervous. And I know lots of athletes or artists that look on their phones, including myself, but that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, depending on how good you are, if you're on the way to get very high or very low, trying to get into the middle and then high, you'll have different environments that push you to be more professional. Your mind, you need to make that professionalism up. Even if you are very professional already, doesn't mean that your mind is going to stick to staying professional all the time. So in order to study how to be doing well in these situations, it's important to do that outside of these situations. Obviously, as we all know. The other thing that we have been doing is diaphragmatic breathing, where we talked about not breathing into the belly, but learning how to balance both diaphragm sides out, even if you're twisted, even if your work is coming from a rotation in art or sport. We want to, whilst we breathe, give ourselves the time not to try to change anything, but to observe there is a disbalance. This balance is allowed, but I can sense into stretching both sides equally as good as I can. I'll be guiding you through an exercise now where we're going to combine these two things I ask you to practice by yourself. You can use this video to do them on a regular basis, or you can just choose to do that by yourself. Good to do after training, but also before training if you need a bit more calm mental focus. We need to know how to implement the breathing. There will be times where it's important to be sharp and get into a different nervous system state. I'm not going to use the normal words people use, like fight and flight, parasympathetic and sympathetic. Too many languages in my head sometimes. I'm not going to use those words all the time. I'm going to invent my own because I want to give a different access to your thinking. For example, if you think about breathing in, most people think about taking something from the outside in. But what you want to do is to not take an inhale, you want to allow the inhale. And whilst you breathe out, you actually don't want to breathe out because that's what usually happens. What you want to do is to resist the letting go. Wrong wording again. It's interesting how educating the brain to not repeat what other people have told you to think takes a lot of work. I'm happy that we're here growing together. So whilst I'm teaching, I'm also growing into becoming better at speaking to someone that I don't see. And so the exhalation, observe how you're exhaling whilst I'm talking. The exhalation usually is different whilst you're sitting or whilst you're listening to this driving or walking than it is whilst you are nervous or moving in your sport or art. We want to become aware outside of all these areas so that we can stay in peace whilst things get wild and know how to recover. Everything I say is watching at your life from a perspective of broadness and networking it. And it's not so much about doing one stupid exercises that has no relation to a context. But since I'm not working with you one-on-one, please contact me if you need specific help. I'm taking this broad as your inhalation. The inhalation needs to be happening as an allowance of the air to come in. Touch your ribs for a second and feel the distance in between your collarbone and the end of the ribs. Just give yourself a sensation of a neurophysiological connection that can be made. See if they feel different to the other time that you did it. Sense into your breastbone. The breastbone usually tends to be a bit tense in people. The breastbone is allowed to relax itself whilst you exhale. The shoulders are connected to the collarbones, so we want to give this whole area a little bit of touch. Also, if you have people that can touch your ribcage from time to time, it's nice because you'll sense them differently. touch your left rib, and underneath your left rib, there is going to be your stomach, and underneath your right rib, you'll have your liver. The liver is a bit bigger than the stomach, and therefore your diaphragm is going to have a different dome shape on the right side, because the heart is a bit more on the left side in the body. There's going to be a different shape to that. We've already talked about it. So what you're going to do now is touch the lower part of your ribs. Once you touch them, you can either touch them in hold position or in motion. You will try to inhale and sense how your lungs are opening the ribs to the sides and to the back and to the sides and to the back. Everything that we do slow is going to work better once we move fast. And then once you exhale, you're going to, that's so funny. I still have a little bit of my smoothie here. Usually people would delete this video and then pretend that they are perfect. But because I'm not perfect, I'm not going to even pretend that I am. Look. So there are the lungs and there are the ribs. We need to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. Yeah, perfect. And that's where we become neurotic and psychotic. And none of us know what that means. That means that we're not allowed to share how panicky we are in public. We are here to perform at our best. So this is what happens. The ribs, whilst you're touching them, are expanding. And now we need to allow is for them to three-dimensionally move back into a neutral position. We're going to do this 4 more times. And this time we're going to inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. We're going to do this 6 more times. And then we're going to spend 2 or 3 minutes holding our breath at the end of the exhalation. So we're going to go together and move in, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Expand the ribs, allow the lungs to move and expand in all directions. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go and allow the inhalation to happen to you. Don't try to make more space and slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Might be that you want to exhale even for longer. We're going to stick to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue. Now, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start holding our breath after each exhalation. 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold. 2, 3, and in. 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3. We are in a real life situation. Background sounds, everything there, but we stay in our center. 1, 2, 3. In. 2, 3, 4, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold, hold, hold. Last time. Expand and allow the inhalation to happen to you. Feel how it expands to the sides and to the back. And now feel how your breastbone relaxes while your ribs are moving to each other and connecting the sensation to your pelvis. There you go. And hold, hold, hold if you want more. And this is the next thing that you will be doing. You will be implementing small breath holds after exhalation during your walks. So if you've been doing the exercise, now we need to have a level up. We are going to grow. This is the idea of the whole channel, that you're going to constantly grow. If you're really good at that and you want something very wild to happen breath-wise and need more input, I'm here to give you a one-on-one session at any time, but these exercises are valuable for everyone. You continue to observe your rib cage, implement walks, and you start to implement small breath holds into your daily life. What we're doing with this is now to increase our nitric oxide levels and our tolerance towards CO2, which is crucial for anything that has to do with running, muscle build up, strength work, coordination, concentration during and a heightened level of execution. And this is going to be very important to study, to do this on a frequently basis so that once we get into the performance situation and setting, we know exactly what to do because our body has gotten used to it in a scenario that is out of the training, without stress and without expectations. We can move what we've learned whilst doing it in a very chilled landscape and a very nice routine on a daily or weekly basis. We can implement that sensation into a stressful sensation. If you're stressed all the time, you can do that. If you're having the best time of your life, you should be doing this as well.